Okay.
We're live.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be streaming late 2002 to early 2003 Half-Life 2 leak maps, which means we're going right up until Valve started work on E3 2003. So I'm joined today by XJR 9000, who currently isn't with us, but he will be with us later on in the stream, hopefully. Tourist, Maelstrom, and of course, Vitor. So as somebody mentioned in chat, Vitoy and Jarflies, we are back together, streaming once again. So, without further ado, I will pass you guys over to Vitoy, who's going to be playing for us today.
Yeah, the old beta buddies are together again.
Hell yeah.
So I would like to add something about how was it separated? I mean, how the eras were separated from each other, because, well, obviously it wasn't separated by Valve, or they never ever separated the eras during the development of their games, because, well, the process of development was just one big continuous process. It wasn't separated by them on some eras or something. The eras is something we, the fans, came up with just to distinguish different styles and well, eras from each other. What I mean is that the term this term era development era is something fans came up with, and not developers themselves. And how it actually was me who separated this era from other eras. I mean, late 2002, early 2003. And for the moment, how to separate it from the previous era, I chose September 2002. And why it was September 2002 is because if you read the article called The Final Hours of Half-Life 2 on IGN, you may know that after they showed the E3 maps they prepared for E3 2002, Gabe didn't like it quite well. And he said that he asked them to continue working on the game and prepare another demo. So in September 2002, they showed him this another demo, which was, well, we don't actually have it. It's not for some reason in WC map pack, but we know that it was E3 2002 maps, but well, they were made somehow better than they were in spring 2002. And when they showed they showed those maps to Gabe in September 2002, he actually liked the demo, and he said then that they should prepare a proper demo for crap, sorry.
Well, we've lost Kirill. I think Kirill just wants to go and take a phone call. So I guess we're going to take some questions early on in the stream.
You can continue his speech.
Oh, sure. Okay. So the E3 2002 is more or less split into two halves, I guess you can say. In early 2002, they prepared a demo for E3 2002 that Gabe Newell didn't like. And that's the one that we have available today that we can play through. It's not entirely complete because obviously, a lot of the features are broken within the Half-Life 2 leak. You can download fan-made fixes and such, and we can play through it as they intended to, if it was going to be shown at E3 2002. But since Gabe Newell didn't like them, they never really saw the light of day in terms of publicity. But there does also exist another E3 2002 that was a lot more complete, and actually was fleshed out enough that it was ready. But Gabe Newell said that work should still continue on getting a demo made, and so that's why we now have the E3 2003 maps, which were designed to be almost like an extension of the E3 2002, the better E3 2002 maps. I'm not sure if I've explained that super well, but once Vitoy's back, we will.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, I explained a little bit of what was going on with E3 2002.
So where I stopped, I was talking about. I forgot what I was talking about. Well,
It says about Gabe agreed on the show the game
yes.
E3 2003.
So at September 2002, they showed this demo. Gabe approved it, and they changed their way how they developed the game. I mean, they decided to separate onto different teams, which they called cabals. And I believe it's since Ben lives in the UK, he can tell you more about what cabals is and why why they decided to call it cabal.
Now, what the cabals were within Valve were small teams that worked on individual projects within a larger project. So Half-Life 2, for instance, had a bunch of cabals. Some would be working on map design, some would be working on different map design, some would be working on models, sounds, everything. And the reason it's called the Cabal is because the term Cabal comes from the Jewish words Kabbalah, which was then kind of changed up in the early 17th century, when England as a country was split into different groups that were run by high councillors under King Charles II, and Cabal was the name given to the kind of collective group of these people who ran England, basically. So you had 5 privy councillors, and they ran different areas of the UK, and their names spell out the word Cabal. And so I guess somebody at Valve was reading about English history or something and thought that it was a good way of describing how Valve works by splitting their projects into individual small little groups.
So yeah, they separated onto those groups, and by the maps in WC Map Pack, we know that there were at least 3 different groups which worked at the same time. And the first group was working on location called sewer. So right now we're at the sewer map from September 2002, and actually the development of this location started back in I believe it was February of 2002, and it was developed by Dave Reeler alone. But after this demo after this September 2002 demo, Valve decided to split into groups. So now onto one location worked not just one person but a group of people, and well, one person was working, for example, on maps, other were doing models for it for the location, and other group was working on a gameplay and such. So it wasn't an effort of just one person now, but a collective effort of few people, of a group of people. But what you see right now is well, it's not really different from previous versions of D1 sewer maps, but it's a start. You will see how it changed in a few months later during the stream.
You can see also that some areas of this map were actually in retail Half-Life 2 without being really changed at all.
Yes, these 2 maps are actually one of the oldest maps which survived into retail Half-Life 2. The previous map and this one.
Yeah, like this whole area here is literally unchanged. The only thing that Valve added were different textures, more of a 3D skybox, and on these pipes, the gorillas walking across, you can see the steam would shoot up and hurt the player. Also, I think that area down there, Vitor, if you could look down into the water, this whole area was made more shallow. It wasn't as much of a drop. They made this area here a lot smaller.
They actually took this location we're right now, and they moved it to the end of canals. I mean,
oh right,
they added it to the place shortly before we take airboat.
Yeah, this is where you drop into the little resistance area, right?
Yeah. And this area, it's actually the first, well, not the first, but one of the first prototypes for that area where you drop down from a vent to a room with bunch of explosive barrels and many manhacks.
I hate that part so much.
Yeah, this is one of the first prototypes of that room.
It's a really nice looking room.
I also miss this location. I mean, we have a glimpse of some canals and a monument and those buildings. It looks nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they removed it from retail.
I guess to show that you were moving further away from City 17 when you're in the canals area, I suppose. Because this just looks like, not the canals, the sewers. This just looks like we're in the middle of City 17, but in the game you're, I think you're quite a bit further away from the train station and the areas around it. This part's in retail as well, the whole part, completely unchanged.
Well, except for in retail we have to jump on a barrel in here to get there.
Yeah.
And during beta stages we were to take a detour.
Did they have physics at this point? Of course they did.
Of course they did.
Never mind.
And this was the map where we were first encountering Hydras.
Yeah, this was reused as, is it Under? I think it's called.
Yeah.
Or is it E3 Hydra? One of the two.
No, it wasn't shown on E3, but the whole chapter, actually, whole sewer chapter was renamed into Under back in January of 2003. Except
it's a shame they cut this part because it looks very cool.
Yeah, the map looks very good. I like it. It's shame they removed it from retail entirely.
Because it looks like they could have used this in maybe Ravenholm or something like that. Because it has a very Ravenholm kind of look to it, kind of aesthetic to it. You can imagine zombies down in this water. Maybe at some point I will make a mod for for retail.
They tried to move it to
end of the game.
Fall of Freeman, to the end of the game, yeah, to the during the uprising stages.
Oh yeah, of course.
But eventually they left only one map.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah, I think
this
there was supposed to be a Hydra in that water.
One of the first prototypes, and now we will show you. Oh yeah, right. They started by developing a new location, which they were calling Steam. So if you remember E3 2003 and actually retail, this is a location which survived into retail as well.
I think this is from Follow Freeman in retail. Yeah. Oh, but it doesn't end up in here. This part is moved to the end.
This is
after the staircase. Oh, who do we lose?
this is pretty funny that some of this geometry is still in retail, like
Yeah.
these brush handrails and some brush constructions, they are still in retail.
Yeah.
And it is also funny that during beta stages, this whole area, I mean this whole warehouse, was unplayable location. We weren't to be there. We were just to look at it from below and
Wow.
to go further down. But in Half-Life 2 Retail, they eventually made it fully playable. So this was the first prototype, and now we will show you another one. Well, it's almost the same, but more details were added. And also this location, which also survived into Half-Life 2 Retail. And in these groups, it was called Pachinko something. Well, they don't show this Pachinko TV program in Russia, but I heard that in the US it's a big thing, and it actually I think it started in Japan, right?
I wouldn't know. Is Maelstrom here?
It seems he's
I'm here.
Do you know of this pachinko thing?
I'll be honest, I never heard of this.
Sure. Okay.
Well, from what I understand, pachinko is something related to some balls which come down, and they meet many obstacles during their way down.
Oh yeah. In the tech demo for E3 2003, with the you know where you shoot the barrels and they fall down and they fall down the kind of the holes in the wall. Yeah, bingo. Yeah, that's the one. Sure.
So I guess the reference to pachinko was because they imagined the gameplay at this location that you shoot metrocops which appear on those catwalks from below, and they fall down, and their ragdolls meet some obstacles during the way down, and it looks like pachinko. I guess that was the reason why they called this group pachinko.
Yeah.
And also this location here, it's I believe it's not on any other DMF.
It's not in retail.
Well, it's totally not in retail.
Yeah. It's also really unfinished by the looks of it.
Oh, I went wrong way actually. Yeah, I needed to go here, and this was the location where we were to meet Hydra for the first time. This pit.
What about show called the wall? Do you know, guys, something about it?
Which?
Maybe Maelstrom does.
The wall.
What is it?
The wall.
Never heard of it.
Not offhand.
I don't.
Oh well.
So after this, I think it was in. I will check. Yeah, it was in January. During January, they renamed whole location from sewer to under, and they began developing it further under the name under. So let's
I guess
see.
under stands for underground or something.
Yes, it is.
What
And
the hell is that citadel?
Yeah, I've got actually the same question.
What the fuck is that? Oh my god.
I still can't tell exactly what this citadel was and why they chose this design and why it was so close to to the sewers we were in. And look at the structures. They look like depot.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is literally just the depot skybox model that they have brought out. Wait, it looks like some concept art from the Air Exchange.
I don't know. It doesn't
Hold
look
on,
much like it.
I would check the concept art for the Citadel real quick, and I'll see if I can figure it out.
So this Citadel is actually, well, it's not on any other locations except for, I think it was called Proto Docks, the map, I mean. So this Citadel could only be found on these early D1 undermaps and on Proto Docks map. And there's one funny thing about Proto Docks is that for some reason many people believed that Proto Docks were the prototype of Air Exchange docks, but that's totally not true, because when the map was developed, Air Exchange was long gone from the game. It was gone for 1 year, and we don't actually really know what this prototype was made for, but it could be for a prototype for coastline docks or for some City 17 docks.
Oh, was Quarry Town still a thing at this point?
It was already renamed into Town. It was just Town.
Gotcha.
And I think it already had the name Ravenholm, but I may be wrong.
Okay.
And we actually will show the prototypes of Town as well during the stream.